T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there. True.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm back. Couple week hiatus, so we're on to episode 47. You're tapped into the coolest reptile network in the world, the Trap Talk Reptile Network. Episode 47, really excited to have Summer from Summer Snakes on tonight. A lot of other keepers from my other podcasts had recommended her for her experience in keeping maybe not so common species that we commonly hear about on these podcasts, so really excited to learn about them. I particularly like the bull snakes. The albino I think are really, really pretty. So excited to learn more about them and the other species that she keeps. So again, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'll get to them during the show. So with that, guys, got the cat tree behind me anymore. So so it's been a couple weeks off. I moved from Missouri. I'm now in Florida. So that was a big move. Still working on my PhD thesis, so I'll defend that August 29th, so a little over a month ago. So I've been really, really busy keeping up with that. Trying to think of anything else going on, but yeah, pretty much that. I had a couple episodes the past 2 weeks recorded to play. They got deleted off of StreamYard, so that's why, I've had a couple hiatus for a few weeks as I was moving, but so I'm gonna have to reshoot those episodes and see how it goes. But everything's going pretty well. The animals have settled in. One girl imagined to lay clutch 2 days before I moved, and then one laid 2 days after I moved. So it seemed like the eggs are doing fine. So hopefully they see through incubation period, and we'll see when they hatch here in a couple months. But yeah, it seems like all the animals kind of settled in and chilled in. So, and they got back on food. So say hi to some of you guys in the chats, and then we'll do the sponsors, and then we'll bring Summer on really quick. So, hey, Mike, thanks for coming out. Mike's always one of the first ones. I hope the audio is okay. I moved out. The moving truck still has all my audio equipment and my desk. So I'm kind of hanging out here until that truck comes. I don't know when it will. Hopefully in the near future, but this will have to work for now. So hey, David from What Exotics, Jeremy from Thix Exotics. Thanks for coming out. Heretic Reptiles. Yep. Okay, we got a lot of Pituophis fans. Perfect. Exactly. That's exactly how I wanted to come out. Thanks, MJ, for tapping in. Jeremy's a big fan. Yeah, super excited. Again, she was highly recommended. So, excited. Yep, thanks for tapping in. Dave Love. Yeah, Dave's done it without audio equipment, so I think I can be fine for a few weeks. There might be a little bit of an echo. Audio's okay. Okay. I can try to speak a little bit louder or have it a little bit closer to me. I'll move the computer closer. There we go. But yeah, once I get my mic and everything, it'll be good to go. So, all right, I'll do some sponsors here. So we got ReptiCo, so Channing, daughter of Dawn and Billy Rice from Rice Reptile, starting her own company focusing on high-end, high-quality hog noses and crescent geckos. So if you haven't already, give them a follow on Official ReptiCo on Instagram. Follow them on MORPH Market. Go ahead and follow Rice Family Reptiles as well. Subscribe to them on YouTube. They've been doing a great job putting out weekly YouTube videos on their projects and everything they got going on. So go ahead and give them a follow there. And then, of course, we got Blake from Blake's Exotic Feeders. If you're looking to feed quail, hit him up, tell him that the trap sent you, and he'll get you set up with some quail. So if you're wanting to feed variety of proteins to your animals and feed quail, he produces the best that you can find. So go ahead and hit him up. And then we got Raregeneticsinc or RGI for all your shed testing needs. So if you're into the ball python game, especially, collect those sheds, send them in. And I think they're still using the promo code for TRAP15. I think that's good for 30 days. So again, if you're needing shed testing anytime soon, collect them, send them in with the code and get a percentage off your order. And then we will finish it up with clutch. So if you're looking something to kind of maximize organizing your breeding, especially with the ball pythons, keeping track of family history and incubation times, ovulations, etc. Also prints out really nice ID tags with a little QR code. You can take a picture of that, and shows you the family history and everything you know for the animal. So super helpful at shows. So again, if you aren't using Clutch, definitely check it out. They're working hard at coming out with new improvements all the time. So go ahead and look into them. And with that, I'll bring Summer on and we will get started. All right. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for spending your time tonight. Really excited to have you on and learn about the species that you keep. There's a lot of Pituophis fans in the chat, so it's awesome. They're here to ask whatever questions they want. We were kind of talking backstage. It's a relatively new species for me, so some of my questions may be a little more on the newer keeper breeder side, but I'm still interested to know kind of how you got to keeping them, the genetics, what projects you're working, show some pictures and all of that. So for people who don't know, like, how did you kind of get into snakes, and what was the first snake you ever really owned, and what kind of inspired you to start summer snakes in general? Maybe
yeah. No, that's okay. I mean, some people know, some people don't. But anyway, my parents actually are Dan and Colette, and so they are the snake keeper, ballpython.com. And so growing up, I mean, they started the business like technically the year after they got married. And so I was born into the reptile industry. So lucky me, I guess. And so, but they mostly just kept ball pythons, at least at the point when I was old enough to kind of see what they had. It was mostly just ball pythons and boa constrictors at that point. They had colubrids before, back in the early 90s, before I was born. So, but anyways, and so I grew up around the snakes and all of that. And so I definitely had the most passion out of all of the kids for the snakes. And just growing up, we had like Great Basin gophers that we would find out back and stuff like that. And so I had lots of experiences with those, like out in the wild when we would go camping, things like that. And I always really appreciated that species, I guess. And just completely different from the ball pythons, obviously, in terms of like body type and, you know, attitude and things like that. And so that was kind of fun to experience that as a kid and whatnot. And then I think in 2015 is when I bought my first Pituophis for myself. I'd been wanting to get into them for a while, but I dabbled in leopard geckos. Actually, was my very first venture.
Really? I mean, that's what I do a little bit of that. That was my first breeding adventure too. Huh. Cool.
Yeah, no. So I actually started with that because that was like my childhood love was leopard geckos. You know, anytime I'd go to the snake shows, I'd go to the petting zoo and I'd be like, the leopard geckos, they were my favorite. And so anyways, I dabbled in those. I was successful. And so I was like, all right. But I kind of really hated the cricket scene. And so bugs aren't my thing. I'm not shy about admitting that. But So anyway, but I slowly transitioned out of those because I realized that I was better with snakes. And so at that point, I just really wanted to get into some of my own and branch off and start my own and just see how it went. I was pretty confident after working with mom and dad for so long that I could do it myself. And so I did. I got my first pair of albino San Diego gophers, but it turned out there were 2 females. So, you know, it was fine. But mom and dad had some at that point. So I kind of used one of their males and produced my first ones, which were San Diegos. And after that, I got, I don't know, like 3 pairs the next year. And then the year after that, it was probably like 10 pairs. And the year after that, it kind of blew up at that point. So.
Okay. Seriously. So you started off with the gophers. Okay. And they were like the albino. Was that a pretty common morph at the time, or was that like a newer one, or how, you know?
Yeah. The albino San Diegos have been around for a while, at least. So, and they were just kind of generic ones. It was probably actually a Bechtel Applegate cross. There's different strains of albino. And so anyways, they were T negatives. And so just like, you know, pretty common albinos though. So nothing crazy, but stuff that you see pretty often.
And with those first clutches, how'd you kind of market yourself with summer stage? Did you take them to shows, or what did you just mainly do online in the beginning, or just kind of word of mouth since people knew your parents? Like how that kind of?
Yeah. I definitely piggybacked off of mom and dad a little bit. But obviously they weren't really known for colubrids as much, even though they had started breeding them pretty heavily. I don't remember exactly when, but probably back in like 2013-ish, they probably got into them again. I don't remember exactly, but probably maybe around then. And so it was easy to piggyback off of them a little bit. But also I think my first couple clutches, I probably just like wholesaled out to some other pet store, I think. So
okay.
Yeah,
They
were really basic. So
yeah. And when did it kind of branch off into other species?
Well, the following year is when I bought my first bull snakes and Sonoran gopher snakes. So, and then the year after that is when I got my first pine snakes, if I'm remembering it all right. So
okay, so pretty early on. And did you find that they were, from your experience growing up, like they were pretty easy to breed, or did you have any early challenges with them at all?
Yeah, I mean,
pretty straightforward. Like if you had to go back and change how you did anything, would you have changed anything, or?
I don't think so. Which maybe that sounds a little bratty, but I
mean,
for the most part, like it was really straightforward. And since I had already been working with colubrids before, like I already had really great experience since mom and dad had some bull snakes and gopher snakes. It was really easy for me to just start with my own because I was successful with theirs, and we didn't really have very many hiccups with it all. So
yeah. I find like not that nobody can have success, but I find that some people talking to them, they just have that sort of, I don't know, like it's in their blood type of thing. And I don't know if it's a cliche thing to say, but they just get it kind of easily, naturally. They've been around animals a lot, and it's something they pick up, whether it's maybe struggle.
Right.
Maybe it's just luck, I guess. But I do think there is some sort of like innate kind of, it just kind of is, it falls into place, and it's like kind of that you've felt like you've always been doing, or just comes easily, comes naturally, maybe is a better way to kind of put it. So
yeah, I mean, I do feel like it comes pretty naturally to me, but that doesn't mean I know everything. So there's still stuff that I'm figuring out myself. But
and you've been around it since you were really little, so that probably helps.
Yeah, pretty much. Seriously, I was always out in the snake room bugging my mom. So
yeah, which is interesting too, because I feel like sometimes kids raise in the environment of their parents, and they don't want to do what their parents do. They kind of just are like, did you ever have that sort of, or was you just always just wanted to do?
I mean, not me. maybe my other siblings, but me. I was always like, I'm gonna do snakes. This is what I'm gonna do, and so far it's worked out, and Spencer likes it. So
Yeah. I felt like that too, growing up on the farm where we showed animals and all of that. And I was the only one that really kind of took off with. Oh, my siblings did it for a year or two, and they were like, "Yeah, that's not for me. I'm going to do cheerleading or something like that." So it kind of just depend me. I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not a cheerleader. I'll do the horses and the cows and everything." So yeah. Just kind of depends. It's just, depends on the family, depends on the kids. Trying to see if there's any questions. No. Okay. So yeah, if you guys have questions, just put them in the chat, and I'll get to them during the show. I just don't want to miss them. Do you see the comments or no? It's okay if not. I put them on the screen.
I do. No, okay. I found it.
Oh, you see? Okay, cool. So you can see if I miss one. So with your particular species that you work with, what projects do you kind of focus on with each of them, you'd say? Or do you have specific projects with them?
Well, just, so I do, so Pituophis is the only species I work with, but obviously there's a bunch of subspecies.
Yep.
And so, right. But I have projects in pretty much all of them, all of those subspecies, which created a lot of holdbacks for me, but I'm just hoping to prove out some really cool stuff. So it's a lot of work and it's taking a lot of room, but I think it'll be worth it in a few years. But yeah, I mean, I have projects with pretty much all of them, except for like your very straightforward stuff, or like locality stuff is just staying locality for some of it, different things like that. But like I have a pair of like capes, and that's just straightforward capes, nothing interesting going on there. And anyway, but as far as the Sonorans, I have fancy projects in the Sonorans going on, which they're not as popular, which is okay, but they are pretty cool, and there's lots of morphs within them, which is fun, like the bull snakes. I think that's why bull snakes are so popular also, is because they have so many morphs, which is great. But the Sonoran gophers actually have a bunch too, and they have just as fun of an attitude and can get just as big as the bull snakes. So really, I think their popularity should go up more than it is, but maybe it's just the name bull snake. It's cooler than a gopher snake. I don't know, but yeah, so I have some cool projects going on there. I mean, I produced I proved out the albino line in this Christmas mountain locality, which this year we're hopefully proving it to be its legit own line. So in like a week or so, I think that clutch will hatch and hopefully prove it my theory.
Oh, it's
cool. Yeah, and then I proved out like some patternless in a different locality for Sonorans, which was pretty neat. So I have different projects going on with that kind of stuff. Hopefully we're going to mesh maybe those two, make some albino patternless at some point. I'm sure most people could have guessed that, but it's a project I'm working on. So there's that for all of you that are interested. But anyway, and then bull snakes, of course. I mean, I can't even tell you how many projects I have. Too many. I need to cut them back. But
I did that right before I moved, and I'm so glad I did. I like it more just kind of clear cut. My brain, it works better if everything's in a line with each other. It just gets I get stressed because I want to keep like buying stuff for those projects. Yeah. I'm like, nah, if I just focus, and it's easier to kind of be streamlined with that, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had like 50 holdbacks last year just for projects. It was so bad.
Collection between all the different subspecies.
Well, it keeps growing, but I don't know. It's probably around 200 to 250 right now ish. It's probably what I would guess at this point. So the goal is to keep it under or at 200 breeders. And so my goal will be like breeder wise only 200, and that's my max. And so obviously there's some more that are holdbacks that will end up taking places and rotating through and whatnot, but that's supposed to be my cap, and we'll see if I keep it there.
I haven't gone to that point. I have a cap as well. I want a 55. I do the ball pythons, but a 55-40 of adults and a 55-40 of holdbacks, and then just kind of cycle them out, and
Yep.
that's all I want. And then a baby rack. But yeah,
Sure.
just limit myself to that and be real disciplined. But
You gotta be, especially when you're trying to keep it under certain numbers like that. But it's hard when you come up with a new project and want to take it in 3 different directions. But
yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, something we all kind of struggle with. But yeah, I haven't gotten to that part yet. So I'm sure it'll be tough we'll see how much I can keep to the numbers. Let's see, I'm checking it. Oh, some people are asking about your deer heads in the back. Do you hunt?
Oh, yeah. Well, my husband actually comes from a really big hunting family, and so I kind of married into that, and I never hunted until I married Spencer, and so now I hunt. So that's Spencer's, but that was my first buck.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So yeah, it was nice. And then that one actually on top of the safe, I think that was like my second buck, I think, from Colorado. But anyways, yeah, I hunt now. It's pretty fun. We like to go fishing too, so we like going outdoors and doing fun things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to hunt. My family members do, my cousins do. I've never had the opportunity to, but I've always kind of wanted to. I do like fishing a lot. I've done some deep sea saltwater fishing, but mostly it was freshwater, like growing up. Might be more saltwater than I moved here, but
yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely some opportunities down there for you.
Yeah. My family has some boats, and it's got like the equipment, like the sonogram, where it can tell you like where the fish are at, how deep. So yeah,
nice.
Probably eventually. Yeah, we also just say my aunt lives on like the inlands. There's a dock that goes out, so we just fish off the dock. We've caught like little sharks, like manta rays.
No way.
And
That's
like
awesome.
stuff that is not fish. So yeah, she's dolphins that swim out there, sea turtles. So it's just like the wildlife.
That's way
here
cool.
is wild. Yeah. Oh, Jessica, she's tapped in. She's gotten 3 snakes from you. And so, yeah, quite a bit. I think we're talking a little bit backstage, but you have them all in one room, or do you have the subspecies in different rooms based on? No, you just have them because they're all. I think just generally the same, like temperature, humidity requirements, and all that.
Yeah. Well, since my parents obviously have their own warehouse, right? So I keep all my snakes in their warehouse. They're nice enough to let me keep them there.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's just in the same room with all of their stuff. It's in separate, like, quadrants, you could say. So I have my own section. That's my stuff pretty much. But yeah, as far as like, there's bull snakes and gopher snakes and pine snakes all in the same rack. So
yeah.
They pretty much all like the same kind of stuff, to be honest. But I haven't really run into anything where it's like I have to keep them a specific way, any other species. So everybody's been good. There's some that prefer like hide boxes more, and so they have hide boxes. But other than that, I keep everybody pretty much the exact same. They're all on the same schedule. Yeah, it's pretty easy for me that way.
Yeah, that's super easy being able to keep it there. And like feeding wise, with breeding season, like how does that differ? Do you feed them? How do you feed them, or is it just the same all the way throughout? I always get curious on that. People even within the same species or subspecies in this case feed them like differently, So
yeah, I mean, pretty much everything's the same. So I only feed rats or mice, and so I don't ever switch it up with like your quail or whatever else people feed, chick feet or whatever it is, or chicks. I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff, but all more to you if your snakes want to eat that. That's great. So anyway, I just do mice and rats, and pretty much all my adults just eat rats. Occasionally I'll give mice if they need it, but everybody just eats once a week pretty much, and that's what I do. So every Tuesday, that's feeding day, and so I feed them once a week. Occasionally, like your males will go off of food and whatnot during breeding season, but otherwise, I mean, they're just garbage disposals. They just they eat. So.
Yeah, the frozen thawed just seem like they probably eat fairly well. Or do you have some that will just take live?
I actually feed mostly live, pre-killed, and so I have access to to them. And so we've always actually done that. But I'll switch them to frozen thawed for people that would like that before I ship, you know, if they've bought an animal and stuff like that. So, and occasionally I'll feed some of them frozen thawed if they need like an extra meal later in the week or something like that. But we go and pick up the rodents on Tuesdays and then bring them back, and that's when I feed. So
okay. Yeah, so pretty easy.
Yeah.
Easy transit. Are there, with other large breeders of these subspecies, do they do it a similar way, or do you know people that do it just because it's so easy and kind of clear cut for you? But is that how?
Yeah, I know most other people are feeding frozen thawed because they don't have the same access that I do, and so in that way, lots of other people do frozen. I mean, it's a lot easier to just keep stuff in a freezer and go grab it when you need it, you know, and then it makes it so you can feed anytime, which is really convenient because most people don't actually do this as their full-time job, which, you know, for me, I'm lucky where the warehouse that I work for TSK Supply is the warehouse that my snakes are at too, even, you know, when I'm working for mom and dad. And so that's my primary job too, is just working for them. Yeah. So I still manage like their collection and work for the supply company. And so I'm there every day. So it's easy for me to just do whatever I need anytime.
Right.
But since they have snakes that I care for, I have to feed theirs on Tuesdays. And so I feed mine Tuesdays too. So
yeah,
anyway.
It makes it easier. Yeah. Capital City. Yes, I think he's just being funny, but have you ever tried to feed? I'm assuming that's a no, but.
No, definitely not. And deer, in my opinion, well, deer specifically, I don't think tastes that good. Okay, your antelope or your elk is much better. But the deer, that's hard to get down.
I've had venison. I didn't think it was bad. I've never had elk or antelope. I heard bison's pretty good. I haven't had that either, but.
Yeah, I don't think I've had bison. I actually did try moose somewhat recently. I'm pretty sure we had moose. But anyway, yeah, no, I have not fed any of that to any of the snakes. Although I don't doubt that they'd probably eat it. They eat anything. But I don't know if I'd want to clean up the mess afterwards.
Oh, he is serious hard. Because I guess like in the chondro world, they feed like gizzards and like, it seems like the babies are pretty easy to just establish on rodents and you've seen. Yeah,
no. Most of the time, I've only ever had a couple babies that like didn't eat right away, which is bizarre when they want to do that. But no organs or anything weird like that. I've never done that. So
yeah, you never know. I mean, some species are yeah. No, I don't know too much about them either. So yeah, so it's good to like learn. It seems like they're like other clubers I know pretty. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no, there are people that feed all kinds of different stuff. Like I've seen turkey necks. I've seen people give their both snakes turkey necks before, and other like chicken legs, all kinds of stuff like that. I have seen like liver, I think, given to some before too. Or I've heard of that. So yeah, but I don't want to mess with that.
Well, if you have the rodents, then they eat really easily. Then no need to.
Yeah, I mean,
underkeepers are weird indeed. Yeah, they do all crazy stuff.
Oh, well, we have chondros too, but we still just feed them mice. So.
even the baby chondros. Really?
Yep, just pinky mice. Yeah.
Huh, so you've had no issues like establishing them at all just on pinky mice?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, usually we can get them eating like pretty easy. And so mom's just a genius at this. So Colette's got it down.
Yes, because it'd be awesome to have you guys on at some point to get her kind of experience or understanding. But yeah, because I've always, any show I listen to, they go really deep on establishing babies, and there must be some sort of trick.
I think she just has this magic thumb or something. That's what I say.
Magic temperature, like we talked about earlier. Some people just kind of have it naturally. So. Heretic ass, favorite species and why? So they already know northern pines, and
I say that a lot in my videos. I think
okay,
it's true. I mean, they're one of the coolest ones. I mean, if you get like a really nice contrasting black and white northern pine, I mean, it is really hard to beat that. But and like visually, they are so striking, super cool. But just holding one, I think that that's the experience that so many people miss, and that's why they don't realize why it should be their favorite, is because they have these keeled scales, which feel just so cool. I mean, they're just like one of the coolest things you can hold. And so that's part of why I really like them. And I don't know, just something about them. We just vibe, I guess. I don't really know, but I do really love the northern pines. There's special things about pretty much all the species, but yeah, the northerns, I got a soft spot for them for sure.
Yeah, I think it just takes keeping multiple species to find out what you really like. And it's hard to explain to people why you really like them. Like I recently got into the Chihuahua geckos or chewies or however people call them, but I really like those. And so my friends who aren't into the geckos, they're like, they just like don't get it. And it's like trying to explain that sort of like magical feeling when you feel them. Just, you can't really describe it. So I'm like, whatever, I'm still gonna.
Yeah, no, they just look at you like you're crazy, but it's fine.
Yeah. And you just know that from just kind of branching out and keeping a new species. Like, wow, I really like this kind. And again, it's hard to kind of explain it, but we have that same feeling for it. So yeah, it's a pretty good question too. I was going to ask, like, what's the market like? Like, and have you seen it change as you've been keeping, like, what species have become maybe more popular, less popular? Do you see it kind of go in waves like a lot of the other species?
Yeah, when I first got into it, Pituophis definitely wasn't as popular, but it's recently gotten like much more popular, and so the market has actually gone up for them over the past couple of years. I think it's a little early to tell how the market will be this year. It still seems like it'll be pretty good. But it's been good. I mean, the hard thing is it's funny, it's a colubrid species that's like a common, North American species, right? And so most of the babies, they're only like a couple $100. And so, it's a relatively like cheap snake in the world of snakes, right? Especially when you see some other snakes selling for tens of thousands of dollars, right? I mean, and so, or even just thousands. I mean, I put a bull snake up for $1,000 and I feel like that's crazy. How's a bull snake $1,000? But, like that is where the market is right now. And so it's pretty good. Last year was really great. This year I expect it to be pretty good too. So, but I do think it might like kind of level off a little bit for a couple years before it might take off again. It seems like everything does kind of like ebb and flow. I mean, the ball python market was non-existent. And then when my parents got into it, it like freaking went through the roof. And now it's kind of like going back down, but I'm sure it'll like come up and down just like everything does. Right. So, you just have to keep producing the best stuff possible and providing people with new cool stuff, I guess. So
yeah, I think if you think about the money aspect of it too much, it really does stuff to you. If that's your like main priority and focus, you can get it down like real, especially with the ball pythons, like just seeing what they were a year ago. Like you might have bought a snake and it was like double, triple, quadruple of what it is now. And it really kind of psychologically does stuff to you if you just focus on the money. Like, in this, I've kind of realized if you're okay with just, I don't say throwing the money away, but kind of if you're just okay with, whatever, then it's okay to get into it. But if you're really set on like making money back in a certain time period, I probably wouldn't do it. You'll make money back, but as far as the amount of time it takes can be very.
I mean, the hard thing is the animal market, no matter what you're doing, is volatile. I mean, it all depends on like what people are doing, what the economy is doing, right? I mean, if people have money to spend or not. And, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's always a gamble. So it's not something I'd put all your eggs in. But for me, it is still like a side hustle, you could say. But so, it's like a hobby, but it's gotten so big that it's a little bit bigger than a hobby. So I need to make money at it still. But I also just enjoy it so much. Like, I don't know what I'd do without it. So
that's kind of the place you'd like to be and just kind of make, I mean, I'm new to this and still learning, but smart business decisions, I guess, about it. And that,
Yeah.
I mean, with your experience, you kind of learned maybe from your parents, but for somebody with no business, that's kind of hard to learn. You know the animals really well, but making the smart business decisions can take some time.
Yeah, definitely.
Were there any skills that you kind of apply apart from the actual snake keeping part from, your parents' side to what you're kind of doing? Or anything that you kind of think about, like, man, that really, really helped, apart from obviously like the space and keeping snakes? I know more on the business side, if there were kind of stuff you've learned along the way.
I have no idea, actually.
I was just curious, just because it's kind of a unique experience that you've had from learning on the supply side, and then if there was anything applied to the animal side. But
I mean, I think you kind of just like barely mentioned it just a little bit, but I think just making sure that, because at my scale, right, I have to definitely make sure that I'm looking at it as also a business. To where it's hard. I have, like, I know each individual snake in my room pretty much, besides the babies that just hatched. Okay, how are you supposed to know all those, right? But anything that's like in my collection, like I know their personality, I know them, and so you create this bond with them, And so, like, I had some adults that I recently sold because I had to move out some more basic stuff to make room for my project stuff that should be cooler, right? And so in a business sense, like, you have to make sure that you're being smart about, like, yes, you have this bond with this snake and they've been there with you since the beginning, and so it's special in that way, but also they're taking up cage space for an animal that can make me thousands more dollars, and it's like, well, I need a snake in there that can pay rent and not just be this sentimental value. And so while I have some that are sentimental value to me, I also have to make those decisions, which sometimes absolutely suck, but because of where I'm at and whatnot, it's the decisions that have to be made. And that is something I've learned from my parents, but I've also had to, like, reaffirm with myself, if that makes sense, to be like, look, you have to make sure you're being smart about it. And so that part, I guess that part you could say, we're treating it more like a business, because in a lot of ways for me it is, but still having fun with it at the same time.
It's a hard balance, I'm finding out. That's why a lot of people get into it maybe with these rose-colored glasses and want to do it full time and just kind of jump. It's really not saying you can't do it, but it's really difficult. So for me, I have starting a new full-time job and a career, so it's kind of like I needed to step it back just a little bit, just so I can focus more on the school and the work. And so cut some projects back, and
PhD takes a little bit,
just a little bit. Trying to do that and move, it's like I'm okay now, but man, before that I was like going crazy. I'm still writing it. I can't believe July's like gone. I have to submit it in like 2 weeks.
We were just saying that too. Like, how is it at the end of July? It's insane.
I don't know. I met with my boss and I was like, shoot, you got to look at this and let me know what I should change. You have to submit the whole document like 2 weeks ahead of your defense, so they have time to look at it. So I'm like, shoot, that's like in 2 or 3 weeks I have to get it done. So
yikes. At least it'll be over soon.
Yeah, and then I could just I know, because there was a few papers in there that will be published after the fact, so we'll do some work on that, but it'll be less so, and it'll kind of just be whatever my PI tells me she wants to change, and then I'll do it and send it back. But the bulk load of it should be done, because I'll be starting my new job and need to focus on that too. So it's a lot, but it's fun, So school, gotta love school. Gotta love school. No, I'm glad I'm done after this. So any other question? Nope. Okay, we'll kind of keep going. I have one question on the top of my mind. Oh, are there any other besides Pituophis, other species you'd like to add in? Or kind of good with, I mean, you probably don't cause with the room, but this is a more of a, if you had limited space.
I kind of have unlimited space in some ways,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sort of. I mean, there's other species I definitely like, but as far as summer snakes goes for right now, it's just specializing in Pituophis only, which for me is fine. There are other snakes that I definitely like. I really like some of the king rats. I think those are super cool. I wouldn't mind some of those, to be honest. I really like some of like the Cribos. I really like some of the Cribos.
Those are cool. Awesome. I like I like the Mexican
super cool
indigo ones.
Yeah. No, like your indigos and stuff. Yeah, I think that stuff is super neat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've already had a lot of experience with ball pythons, and I still love working with mom and dad's ball pythons. I'm pretty much in charge of all their projects, and so I get my little fun time with that stuff, which is fun, and so I enjoy that a lot. But as far as other species, I mean, I don't know if I would or not, but if I did, it'd probably be some of those other kind of colubrids. You know, I think the king rats would be fun, and I would really love to have some of the yellow-tailed Cribos, but they're messier than my pits are, and so I'm a little like, I don't know. Some of my pits are just, gosh, they're terrible.
Are they? So it's like a little faster gut, kind of moving with the poop, you'd say?
Yeah. So Tuesday's feeding day and Wednesday's cleaning day. So. Yeah, no, I mean, I walked in the room the other day after I fed, and I was like, oh my gosh, the whole room smelled. I was like, you guys, that's terrible.
I hear those. Yeah, that they're similar to.
No, there's just a couple of specific individuals in the room that just smear all over the cage, and it's a beautiful paint job. And I hear that the Cribos are definitely like that. And so I'm like, I don't know if I really want to deal with that. But anyway, I might end up with some other stuff someday. Spencer keeps pushing me. He's like, we should get some other cool stuff, like the blue barons. He loves the blue barons, which I think they're super cool too.
Those are cool. I love that. It's my favorite color in general. And so seeing it in a
blue all the way.
Yeah. Is Spencer, I don't know if you mentioned in the beginning, has he always kind of been into the snakes or reptiles before you kind of
nope. Definitely not. Yeah, no, he when we first met, I told him what I did, and he was not so sure about it. And so, but he eventually came to work a couple times. I showed him around when we were dating and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, this is pretty unique." And he didn't really love snakes. He still doesn't hold them a bunch. But he really enjoys it now. He thinks it's like the coolest thing in the world. So
that's cool. How long ago did you meet him? Was it in the before summer snakes or was it after?
So I mean, I officially started summer snakes in what?
2015, I think it was.
That's when it's right around then. And so we met in 2015, and then we got married in 2018. And we started, I think I officially coined the name Summer Snakes in 2018. I think it was after we got married. And so, but I had my first stuff going already. I just didn't actually get the business officially done until 2018.
Okay. So he was kind of at the beginning part. So that's really, really cool. I always it's so, I feel like relationships in this, it's hard sometimes. You'll be with they're always, you're just not really into it, which is fine, but having somebody that's grown into it over time, that's really cool. So
yeah, he likes it. Maybe not as much as me because he doesn't take care of them.
That's not around him as much.
Yeah, I mean, he works down there in the supply room and stuff, and so he's in there every day with me. But he's not a big fan of actually like handling them a bunch yet and cleaning them and whatnot. So I get to do all that.
Yeah, it's just likes looking at them. Oh, Purple Church has a pretty good pelletized bedding. Yeah, okay. I do that with the rat, so that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm sure that would probably help.
Yeah, sure that help. Yeah, I'm still on the fence with it as to I'd like to get one just for like babies and stuff, like stillborns or something like that, or animals that need to be euthanized. You know, something to feed it to is what I would probably use it. But they're really intimidating. Just kind of big, very smart, you know. So it's like, I don't know.
They are big, but I mean, it's like the bull snakes. Their bark is worse than their bite in most cases. So it's not. You might get chewed on a little bit, but they're kind of harmless. So.
Oh, heretic. Yeah. Spencer. Yeah, they like Spencer in the videos apparently.
You hear that? He's watching somewhere in the house. So.
Oh, is he watching somewhere else?
Yeah.
I've had a few guests where they're sniffing others and they'll tap in. I think Amanda, she was like in here. Yeah, she's in there. She had like the whole family tapped in, like mother-in-law and everything. So it's like kind of neat. She was on a few weeks ago. So
nice.
As far as like the actual breeding part, it sounds like none of them have been overly challenging. Have there been any that you've had to work on a little bit more than other subspecies, or any kind of tricks that you've had to do with one versus the other?
I mean, nothing crazy. I do brumate every year, and so since out here in Utah it does get quite cold in the wintertime, I do brumate them. It's not necessarily a requirement, but it does seem to at least have helped me with my production and everything like that. And so it's not anything I'm going to change. So I'm still going to keep brumating. It's a nice break from cleaning, all the adults and feeding them. It's nice for the checkbook. So, as far as that goes, I do brumate. And so I put them down on Halloween and I take them out like President's Day weekend in February. And so I do that process, which seems to help a bunch. But I pretty much get fertile eggs every year, from pretty much everything. So there hasn't been one yet that stumped me. Knock on some wood here, but
hope I don't stump you there.
I'm working with some new ones in the coming years that I've heard can be a little more challenging though, and so I'll be curious to see if my fortune kind of continues into those ones as well. But time will tell. So.
Yeah, hopefully not too much. What's like the temperature that you bring them down to, and do you like increase that when you start to take them out? Like, how does that kind of stepwise go?
Yeah, so I keep them at 55. Sometimes maybe gets a little bit lower, but I don't go much lower than 55. It's cold enough that it slows them down enough where they're not, their system kind of doesn't shut down, but it goes dormant enough that it's good. And so I do 55, and they just go into this other office, and we just close the door. It stays dark. Cooler just runs. And so anyways, but when I first put them in, I kind of drop it slowly. So the snake room itself is usually around between like 70 to 80 degrees, depending on the time of year. And so right now it runs like, 78 in there. It's quite warm. I sweat all day. It's great. But in the wintertime, it's probably more like 70, 72-ish. And so when we put them down, I put them down in there and I drop it to like 60 or 65, then 60, a day later, then 55, a couple days after that. And so I do drop them a little bit slowly. Their heat in the room in their cages is set at 82 on most of the racks. And so they're shooting out around 82-ish most of the time for their hot spot. And so that's pretty much what I do. And then when I bring them out, I just raise the temperature a little bit at a time, and then we just wheel them out into the snake room, and they warm up in the snake room before I put them into their own cage with heat. So that's usually the way I do it. So I do kind of do it gradually, but it wouldn't affect them very much to honestly just kind of go like that. I mean, they'll warm up and they'll cool down, and they're pretty hardy. So.
And then just pair them kind of at how, I guess, far out breeding out of brumation do you like instantly? Do you pair them and they're pretty, or do you any other?
I mean, pretty much. So I usually take them out and they warm up for a couple days. Usually I try to take them out like at the end of a week. So if it's like whatever, like the second week, the end of the second week in February is pretty much, that's usually when I'm like taking them out. So I'll take them out, let them warm up over the weekend. Tuesday, I'll give them their first meal. And then sometimes that Thursday, usually Thursdays were breeding days for me. And so sometimes, some years I've bred them right after I take them out that very first week. Sometimes I'll let them get 2 meals and then I'll put them together. But I've had some ovulate like so crazy early before that I've missed them. And so I've started just being like, all right, first opportunity, like we're getting you guys together right away.
I think somebody, Jordan asked, do any of them double clutch?
Yeah, but not because I'm trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they can. It's not typically recommended to push them to do it because while they are like big bodied, kind of big bodied, and they can probably handle it, it does take a big toll on them, and it could potentially just cause other health problems, I guess, because it's hard on them. And so, but I have had, last year I had like 4 double clutch all on their own. And then this year I think I had like 6 just did it. But I don't breed them or anything. They just lay a bunch of slugs. I just find them. It's great.
Okay. So not really planning for it then. They just kind of, how big is like the typical clutch size on them?
It can vary a lot, actually. I think what was our biggest clutch this year? I mean, I had one that was definitely 26, so that was a big one. But I mean, obviously, it can be as small as like 6 or whatever, But most of my adult bull snakes are laying between like 12 and 20. I had probably like 3 or 4, maybe more than that, like over 20. And so the pines usually have smaller clutches, depending on what pine it is. Like black pines, that's one that a lot of people are familiar with. They only lay like a couple eggs usually. Like a big clutch would be like 7 eggs, and so. But my northern pines, she's laid like 17 before, which is crazy for a pine snake. So, and then gophers, they're usually right around a dozen or so. They kind of have fewer.
Okay. So kind of all across the board, do you find that individuals, as they age, they have larger clutches? Or have you not really seen a trend with that?
Yeah, I mean, so I typically wait until they're at least 3 years old, sometimes 4 years old. I've had one produced before at 2 years old. It was one of my bull snakes. She was just absolutely massive. And she produced as a 2-year-old. But I typically would recommend waiting till they're at least 3 or 4. At that point, they're thick enough that they can kind of handle the process, which I think is better. And so usually, like, their first year, I would normally expect around a dozen their first year. But some of these girls, it's like their 3rd and 4th year, and they're up to 20. And so it can get more, but I expect it'll kind of like taper off at that point.
Yeah. Have you had any, like with the breeding process at all, any like health issues come up that you've had to deal with, like prolapses or egg binding or anything like that? I always find that super fascinating on how people deal with that, but I didn't know if that was a thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've had any prolapses, not that I can think of anyway, not with the pits. We've had them, the chondros. Those have done that before. That's been great.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of my pits have prolapsed, which has been good. But the egg binding, yeah, that's happened to me. That sucks. So well, I've had stuck eggs a few times. I've had one female pop out one egg and then she was dead the next morning, full of eggs, which was crazy.
Yeah.
I've had some that never laid the eggs and ended up just dying. Can't get them out. And so, since my parents have a lot of experience, and I've been around it long enough, occasionally we'll try to do whatever we can to help them if they are stuck.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we, just try to gently massage them a little, but really there's not a lot that can be done without, some expertise from a vet or something. And so when those problems come up, I usually just, I'm not very positive about it most of the time.
Yeah. Just kind of write it up as a loss, unfortunately.
I mean, even if you can, somehow, if the vet can manage to get them out or something, like the odds of that female being able to still produce are pretty minimal depending on the damage that was done, things like that. The oviducts might not be good anymore. Like who knows if they actually get sewn up correctly, anything like that. So at that point, yeah, you just hope that you get some good eggs to hopefully at least get something out of it, right? You grow up a female for 4 years and then you just get skunked. I mean, that sucks. But it's also part of snake breeding, and everybody deals with loss, and so it's nothing new.
Yeah, it's just part of keeping animals, and sometimes I think hands off, depending on the hands off is a little bit better. People, I think, kind of have the mindset like with their dogs or cats a little bit with these guys when stress can almost be worse than the actual problem. Like that and birds I've seen where like, you stress them out, they'll go downhill real quick, more so than they would have if you didn't stress them out. So it's a really fine balance. It's difficult.
A lot of the times, if you just leave them alone, which I do most of the time, they'll kind of work it out on their own. And so, it's hard to wait and let them do their thing, but sometimes it's ended up working out really good for us. So.
I think it comes down to like a little bit of instinct too, and like when to kind of jump in and do something, because there are, like with babies and stuff, there are instances where, at least on the, thinking more like on the chondro and ball python side, maybe more than the.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it just depends on the situation, but
the adults and the egg binding, it's just hard for people. They don't realize that you can only do so much sometimes, and that nature is going to do whatever it's going to do.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, growing up on a farm, I dealt with that a lot with my dad, just like a cow, just like the calf being too big, and then you end up losing both of them, and it sucks, but that is just part of.
Things happen.
Yeah, you can't. There's nothing really to do to prevent it. But if you have a better attitude about it, you'll kind of accept it maybe a little bit more than feeling bad that you could have did something when all likelihood you probably couldn't have.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Oh, Jeremy has a question here.
And
then favorite local herb. Yeah.
I mean, my parents would go out, but I never really got to go out with them a bunch when I was young. But they kind of also moved away from keeping colubrids, because they got into ball pythons so much. And so they didn't go herping a ton, I would say. Just sometimes with some friends that would come into town. But when we moved here to Utah, we would sometimes go out. And anytime we go to St. George, we would go out and go herping. They have a place out towards Torrey, Utah. And they like going out there when they're out there. And there's some great wildlife out there. And so, but me and Spencer, it's always something that we've talked about doing more. And there's lots of great local places around here that we can go find stuff. But it's really just finding the time to go out and do it. Is something that we're trying to find. And I mean, our son is at the point where he goes to bed at a decent hour, so we could go out more at night and stuff like that. But during the day, we're just busy at all the times of year when it's best to go out. And so, but we're just exploring mostly. And so hopefully we'll get out more. But my favorite local herp, like local here to Utah, or are you talking about like a locality? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I mean, I think it's like the coolest thing when I find a rattlesnake, I guess. I mean, that's pretty neat. But
Yeah, that'd be neat. I want to find that. Oh,
I think
local
to Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite one to find in Utah, like out of anything, would probably be a Gila.
That's cool.
I found him twice in St. George, actually. So I've had some good luck. And so that's probably like my top one, I would say, which it's not a snake, but
that's pretty cool.
I work with snakes every day. So, it'd be way cool to go out and find another Gila, in my opinion. But
yeah, it's finding the time to do it. When I was a kid, I do it all the time. Like with my dad, we would go. I was in Indiana, so in the woods we'd find mainly box turtles, and I would catch like tree frogs and stuff.
Yeah,
lizards. But as an adult, it's really hard to find the time. I went in Missouri probably in April with Dave Levinson and some other guys. They did a couple days. I just drove over for the day. And yeah, the one we found, I don't even know, 10, 11 species, but I wanted to really find a rattlesnake, and we didn't find one. We looked in the quarry where they supposedly are at, like for hours. It was like pretty chilly though, 50s maybe. So it was.
It might be a little too cold.
Yeah, a lot of stuff was hidden, and then in the peak of the day, you'd see stuff kind of crawl out and start basking.
Right.
But here in Florida, I've already seen stuff
year round, like
alligator in my backyard. So
right.
I don't need to go far to hurt, but I just have a really, I don't know, just seeing stuff like in the wild is so cool and so fascinating to me, especially when you keep it, and I have such much more appreciation for them,
right.
and just enjoying them. So yeah, I'd like to do it more, but finding the time. And so we're kind of at the hour mark. If you want to, I need to play a quick commercial real quick, and then you can share your screen and we can look at some pictures. I think would be
sure.
Yeah. Let me do the quick commercial here, and
One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, Gary Scavino over at gs.reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Choo!
All right, cool. We're back. So try sharing your screen and see if we can figure this out here. I love it when they share the pictures. It just puts all, like, if you're new, the pictures to the different subspecies and colors. And okay, I think I see it here. Okay, so if somebody could Can somebody just comment, make sure you can see the Facebook? I might put it like full screen as well. Yeah, there we go. I mean, I can see it, but I want to make sure that people in the chat, so somebody can comment real quick. They can see the Facebook page, and then we can go. I'm kind of waiting for somebody to comment real quick.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep, it seems like, yep, they see it. They can see it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so kind of go through and show some of your favorite project, favorite animals, and if everybody has questions in the chat, you can put them in. Yeah.
I mean, man, I don't even know. I have like favorites of everything.
I like the red. That's why I like the albino bull snakes a lot. I love that color palette. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's some really pretty albinos. I mean, you know, this is one of our snow clutches this year, and got a lot of variety in this clutch, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So it's always fun when you have variety. Sometimes it's kind of boring when you just hatch a bunch of stuff that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know, like this is a project that I'm kind of working on more. It's these high contrast ghosts, which this is the Miami line and the Stillwater hypo line. And so, but we've recently found, at least I think that this is what it is. It's something where I have this high yellow line of hypo Stillwater that I'm working with, and I'm breeding that into the Miamis, which is the line of Axanthic. And I've been producing these really light colored ghosts that have this insane amount of contrast.
That's super cool. It's like runs out of ink almost, but then it comes back again at the tail. It gets like more contrasted again, it looks like.
Yeah, no. And so this is a project where it's something simple, and the ghost has been around for a long time, but I'm starting to make more of these ones, and I'm pretty excited about it. We had some clutches this year. I don't think I have any pictures up here. Oh, actually, I guess here's some of them, but these ones are more of those high contrast ones, which are going to be, they're going to be so cool. There's some we produce that I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a hard time not keeping that.
Is the ghost an incomplete dominant or recessive? I mean, we haven't even talked about like the genetics, but it sounds like it's that, right? Or do you have or do you have polygenic stuff too?
I mean, yeah, there's some, but the ghost is a double recessive. So hypo is recessive and Axanthic is also recessive. So
okay. It's kind of like true ghost. Ball pythons then, okay.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's more my language. So yeah,
I know it's a little bit easier to understand. So
yeah, it's weird. Some species the same genes like different, so I always gotta ask. But
oh no, yeah, you're totally fine. Clarifying, I think, is good for everyone. So
yeah, that animal's super pretty. What about the one next to that? That's got like this on the back. That one, yeah. What is?
Yeah, this is a San Diego, and so this is actually a new project that we brought in. It's supposed to, the gentleman we got it from called it an extreme red, and so his project is based off of getting more of the red to come through, and he has some that are pretty incredible looking. And so this is something we're going to start working on, is trying to produce some really reddish looking San Diegos. So
that's super pretty. Yeah, I love how just a pixelate, all the different kind of layers of color you got with the scales from the yellows and the little bit of pink, oranges. At least my eye sees pink, but that's super pretty.
No, there's definitely pinks in there. No, she's actually very pretty. I'm excited to kind of watch her grow, but that's obviously a project that it's going to take a few years to raise her up. So, but yeah, that's one of the gopher projects that we have going on. And so obviously there's the tiger stuff, which is pretty popular right now. And so we just posted our video about the tigers, and so they're pretty neat. It's
that is cool.
It's pattern based is more of what the tigers are, and so these ones are just red tigers or blood red tigers. And then you have our white tiger that we produced last year, and it's while it's just mostly black and white, it's pretty cool looking. So
yeah,
we're excited about that stuff. And so that's one of our biggest projects we're chasing, is producing more tiger stuff. So they're pretty neat. This is mostly just a bunch of clutches from this past year. All of our stuff that's laid eggs. It was a lot.
And then with the eggs, like there's some like that kind of brownish staining. Is that just like kind of what? Yeah, that one, that picture, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it almost looks like a bruise. It was really weird. They all hatched. They were perfect. But I'm not sure if it maybe just sat in like the birth canal essentially for like too long. Or what really happened, or if she just kind of had discolored looking eggs. But yeah, this was for clutch. So this is the female that laid on.
Yeah, you see it on a few. Is that, I don't know if it was a normal thing or, yeah.
No, not usually. That was a little surprising, but the eggs did all make it full term. We actually kind of filmed some of a video about it, but we haven't finished it yet. But yeah, they'll hatch. They're great looking. So just weird looking eggs though.
How long's like the incubation time on them?
Typically it's 60 days.
Okay.
At least, so we incubate right around like 81 to 81 and a half degrees.
Okay.
And so we usually see like between 60 to maybe 70 days for most stuff. So
Okay.
this is one of those northern pines.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That's really pretty.
Yeah, she's like insane. So maybe I should go full screen like that. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it. Yeah, that's really pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
she had a lot too. Yeah, a lot of babies.
Yeah, I think she had like 17 maybe. But yeah. Anyway, so we kind of love those. Those are those really great contrasting black and white. Anyway, yeah, those are fun. So I like those a lot.
Yeah, and even like the different pattern on the back is like different too, which is interesting. Like some are more long, some are more square. Like that's pretty cool. Cool too.
Yeah, no, she's a really pretty one. That's for sure. That's one that I hold near and dear, I guess.
Their favorites, yeah.
But I don't know, man.
There's a lot of pictures here. Yeah, whatever you wanna.
I don't know. I have a lot of stuff. I think everything's cool, but
is that albino hog a little bit, or not hog, bull a little bit up, a little bit up? Like that really dark orange one. A little bit. Is that the patternless one? Maybe not.
Oh, the patternless? This?
Yeah.
No. So that's not an albino.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a hypo patternless. That's the Stillwater line.
Okay.
So yeah, there's two different strains of hypo. Well, technically, some people could argue 3. But anyway, Stillwater is one of them, and so that's one of them. They're really pretty. Really like those.
Really deep orange ones too above that one.
Yeah, this is an albino tiger. If that's what you're looking at.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that this one is actually. I think this one was the blood that I was guessing on. I think blood is this new morph actually that we're seeing come about, but something I'm still trying to work on proving out. So yeah, it just makes things a deeper, darker red. So at least that's what I'm guessing so far. But
are you finding like a lot of those maybe new lines popping up in people's collections, or is it more of like a rare thing? Like how often does that kind of occur, like new morphs that are being found and everything?
Not super often, really. It's something that was actually over in Europe. And so, there could be some here, but it's nothing that anybody's kind of picked out and started talking about and working with. And so I brought in some stuff from Europe a few years ago, and blood was in them. And the gentleman that kind of recognized it and was working with it is called it blood, and so wasn't even my idea, but I'm working with it now, so we'll see if I can prove it out to be something cool.
One question I heard earlier that I forgot, and this kind of made me remind it. How is like the international market for these guys? Like, do you export them? What countries seem to be really into these guys?
Definitely your Asian countries, or even Europe. Europe's another really popular spot. So, but Asia definitely is a big fan. The Chinese market is pretty big. Yeah. They definitely really like the stuff. We've had a couple others. I think we've had some people from Thailand before, and not a bunch of Japanese, I don't think, but definitely the Chinese have talked to us pretty regularly, asking about stuff. And some breeders in Europe, different people over there seem to really like the Pituophis as well.
Okay. I'm always curious about, the international ones and how you've seen that change over the years, but it sounds like recently a lot of the Asian, which it's true for the ball pythons, it seems, too.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen a lot of videos from those guys.
Right. Yep. No, they do have a lot, actually.
Yeah, they make some crazy stuff. That's a really big one.
Yeah, these are a bunch of shots of our adults just that are in our collection. I mean, we've got a bunch of stuff that we're working with, obviously. So, I don't know.
Robert asked, when are your Jani hatching or Jani? It's Jani.
Yeah, Jani. So Jani are like these right here.
Wow, that's wild looking. It's got like almost like a calico cat where it's got like different colors, like the orange, the black, and the.
Yeah, I wonder if I can find a better body shot to kind of show you. I mean, this is one of them too, but it's not as good of a picture. But anyway, the Jani, so the Jani are actually a northern Mexican pine snake, and so they're found in Mexico. But we call them pine snakes, although some people call them gopher snakes. But anyways, the Jani clutches actually really struggled this year, which was pretty depressing. We got great looking clutches, but the eggs just kind of didn't want to get through incubation this year. So we kind of struck out on that. There was only a couple babies, and they kind of went to people that were top of the wait list. And so unfortunately, I don't think I'll have very many to offer this year. Yeah, sorry, bad news.
Yeah, well, hopefully next year. Yeah, those crazy like blood red orange ones are like so pretty. Those are the ones I definitely like.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool ones. This is a Hannum hypo. The Hannum hypo is kind of what you're going for. It's actually blue in the saddles. I don't really have any that are blue, but I wish I did. I have some that are really pretty, but none that are blue, unfortunately. So one of these days I'll get there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff that I have. I don't even know what we could look at. I think
there's like tons and really, a ton of different colors and patterns and.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, there's definitely a variety of morphs, which is really fun, and so that makes it a good time to work with them. But, nice.
What's your favorite hypo line? Because there was multiple, I think, correct?
Yeah, no, there's a couple. I am pretty partial to Stillwater stuff. The high yellow Stillwaters, like I said, that I'm working with, this is one of them, although she unfortunately had egg complications and is no longer with us. Totally sucks. But she's one from the high yellow line that I'm working with, and the high yellow line is really fun to work with. Also, the flames are the Stillwaters. Here's another high yellow one. I think this is actually my male. He's still sticking around. Those are super fun for me. I really like these ones. I just love the contrast of the black and yellow, which is really fun. So the flames are red hypos, and so they're kind of your orange and black. These ones are tigers right here. But let me see if I can find one of the other flames. I know we just passed. Here's some flames, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
So these are our red hypo Stillwaters, and They can vary a lot, but
Mhm.
just some of the contrast that you get. I love like the dark blacks up by the neck. I think that that's just like,
Mhm.
I don't know why, but I love that. And so I love that she has this organized circular saddles. I think that those are,
More like pinkish a little bit, or like more faded kind of color.
yeah, no, anyways, so the still waters are probably my favorite hypo. I do love the Hannum hypo stuff though. But like your still water combined with Asianthic makes these ghosts. So this is one of those ghosts as an adult, and the contrast up on the neck is just like, I don't know. For me, it can't be beat. So
It's interesting how they can have the same genes, so to speak, but phenotypically they just look so much different. I feel like you see a little bit of that in the ball pythons, but not as much as these guys. Like there's some genes like hurricane and puzzle that can be variable, but for the most part, it's pretty cut and dry. You know, does it got it or does it not? There's some
yeah,
influences or whatever, but I feel like there's much more variety with these guys.
there's definitely a variety for sure.
Yeah.
Not as much in the ball pythons. I would agree. It's a little more cut and dry with those, but
Mm-hmm. Oh, what's that kind of grayish one? If you go down. Okay, yeah, it's like and yep, that one.
yeah, that's another ghost. So
So-
that's one of those
Okay.
Miami Stillwater ghosts.
Very pretty. Reminds me of I don't forget, type of hognose where it's like kind of, it's moonstone maybe. I don't know. Just had that kind of cool, like light gray look to it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, no, I love these guys. I have too many holdbacks probably.
And
But
then
yeah, no, those are cool.
Jessica's asking, go into the Hannums a little bit more.
Yeah, the Hannums. It's something that there's different opinions about it out there, and I don't actually know what's right. In my own experience there, I'm trying to just find a good picture of one. I mean, this is like a Hannum. It's a decent one to look at. The Hannums, yeah. So anyway, John Hannum ended up producing the first ones a number of years ago out of some red albino bulls that he got from Jason, and turned out that they were het for hypo, which is pretty cool to just have something new pop out that you weren't expecting, obviously. And so anyway, he ended up producing them, and they've been known as Hannum hypos or red hypos ever since then. But I've heard people say that they're compatible with Trumbauer, and I've heard people say that they're compatible with Stillwater, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, honestly. But some of the guys that have been around a lot longer in the business than me, in Pituophis anyway, are saying that it's actually a double hypo, but not with Stillwater. It's a Trumbauer hypo and a Kingsville hypo, which will be confusing for a lot of people. So the Kingsville hypo line is just a line of hypo that kind of popped out of reds like years and years ago, probably back in the 90s sometime. But it wasn't ever something that was really like worked with very much and everything or advertised very much. Only a select few people really kind of had them and were working with them. And so anyway, so the theory that they were trying to say is that the reds that John got from Jason ended up carrying that line because his red albino line descended from Kingsville Reds, which is a locality-based red. And anyway, it ended up having that gene carried down. And then when he bred them together, it just so happened that he ended up producing that they were like double heads. And so he ended up producing them.
Okay, that they were
and so
different.
Yeah, I mean, they look very different. And I haven't been able to do my own test breedings on them just yet. hoping to be able to have enough to kind of, if you will, burn the projects, so burn some females, trying to prove it out for myself so that I can more confidently say and tell people what exactly it is. But yeah, from different things that I've heard, they're saying that it is definitely compatible with Trumbauer, but it isn't just a Trumbauer. It's more than a Trumbauer. So I know that's not super helpful. In my opinion, I would still categorize it as its own hypo. Because even if it is this double hypo thing, it means that it's obviously not just a Trumbauer and it's not just a Stillwater. It is still its own thing because it's a combo. It being a combo could explain some of the variability that we see. I mean, there's lots of different looks for these guys. I mean, this is another one. And so obviously they look totally different from each other. But they're both actually from the Hannum line. And so they're both red hypos, but they look completely different. And even this one technically is a Hannum hypo, but completely different look, like tons of blacks in this one. There is some of the purple still coming through the mid body. It's got the orange red head still and things, but I mean, just like not even close to something like this,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's hard because we were talking about, there is some variability, but that seems like there's too much of a difference to be.
There's a bunch in the Hannums for sure. I don't know if I have any other easy picks to. This is another one actually. This one's turning out really nice. Lots of purples in her. But yeah, Jessica, I'm sorry. That probably doesn't really help at all.
Yeah, just hearing from people's experiences and what they know about it is super helpful. You don't have an answer quite yet. It just takes, I think, some more time. I mean, another thing is just shed testing, but is that even a thing with a Pituophis or not yet?
Yeah, so I've actually been working with Ben. And so I sent him a bunch of sheds like a year ago, and so he's been working on, at least for the bull snakes, he's been working on getting that up and going. I think last time I heard him say an announcement was that it might be available as soon as later this year. So hopefully that can be a thing, although I still think that there'll be more that he'll have to add to the database, and just more to figure out, because there's stuff out there that I didn't really have to give to him, and so I think that could take some more time to compile. But
yeah, it'll take some time, but it's good to know that they're working on it. I think as time goes on, the technology will just get better and better, as it usually does. But in the beginning stages, it does, of course, take some time. So
yeah, no, he's definitely he's working on it. So I know that they're at least going through the stuff, and I'm pretty sure that he should have it available soon for the bull snakes, at least basic stuff, which would be great. So
yeah. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there's anything else you want to see that you can come up with, I might be able to show you. But
what's that one that's on the top row that's all the way to the right?
Oh, yeah, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a northern pine snake, and this is obviously an albino. And so this is one we produced about a surprise, actually. But it turns out our male was het albino and we didn't know it, which was always a nice surprise. So this was more of like a high white, which hopefully will end up being really pretty. You don't really see them this white. And so we're hoping that this one will stay kind of white and red as it matures, which would be awesome. A lot of them tend to kind of yellow a little bit. And so, but if you can keep it cleaner with those whites, I think it would be very pretty.
Super pretty. Yeah, I just love the albino stuff, that red, orange. It's all my ball python projects are ultramel, like those really bright kind of in sunset, kind of putting those together. Yeah, so I guess like my color palette. Yeah, super pretty.
Yeah, that one's a holdback. So
the fact that it's, how old is this one?
That one just hatched this year, so
sure.
Only a couple weeks old, probably.
Okay. And are they pretty yellow when they do hatch, or you find the yellowing as they get older, or?
Well, so I've never actually, this is my first albino northern that I've hatched. And so I haven't had a ton of experience raising these ones specifically.
Okay.
But based off of what I've heard, they usually hatch more kind of whitish like this, but then they will kind of yellow as they mature, mostly albinos. But with like my high whites, you know, that one's not actually a high white, but I don't know if I have pictures of. Anyway, with something more like this from my high white line, they tend to actually brighten as they age. They don't really get worse. They actually get whiter and blacker as they get older. And so a little bit of the opposite, I guess, in the albinos. But
pretty cool. Awesome. Well, that was great.
Yeah, no, they're cool, and
it just helps visually seeing them, you know, putting it. It looks like there's some patternless there, maybe, I'm guessing. Maybe not.
Yeah, no, these are those Lahitas. This is the locality patternless I proved out. Very similar to the super forks, but within a different locality, which was pretty neat. But these guys, their variability is super cool because they have like a bunch of patterning in some of them. Yeah, this was a fun one. So
yeah, you can see that one's like pretty much patternless, which made me guess it. But then yeah, you can just see on some of the other ones that really faded pattern coming in.
Yeah, they're this will be a fun one, definitely. I think their mom is like super pretty. I don't even know if I could find a picture of her that fast, but if I could, I totally would show you.
Like a patternless looking one.
Yeah, she is a patternless. She's got these awesome like purples in her.
Oh, okay.
Actually, this is her.
Oh, wow.
So it's not the best picture of her, but she has like these crazy purples going down her body that are just like the coolest thing ever. It almost makes me think hypo, but she's gorgeous. She kind of hates me, but she's gorgeous. So
the best ones usually do, I find. Like, but yeah, I do see like the purples are kind of that bluish tint around the diamonds there. Yeah, super pretty.
Yeah, no, they're fun. These guys are just really fun. Definitely. Yeah, I don't know what else to show you.
I know that was pretty good. We're already at an hour and a half, so we're already kind of what I said that I like to keep it at. So yeah, you're good. Unless somebody else in the chat, I'll give you a few seconds here to put anything that you'd want to see real quick, and then if not, then we'll wrap it up just with a few last kind of questions. And
should I stop sharing? Probably, huh? Or I guess I'll just leave it for a minute.
Yeah, I think it's me. Yeah, I think I can. Okay. Whoops. No. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. Figured it out. Cool. All right. We're both on the screen. Okay. That was cool. That was the first time I've had, I guess, share the screen, and it worked fairly well. So it's not something we commonly do like on the network. So yeah. Find it. Oh yeah. And I still see it there in case somebody has a last second they want to see something. But yeah, so just some final kind of questions, like some of them I like to ask is your like 5-year plan. It seems like it's like hitting those projects. Is there like one, it's probably hard, but one key project that you'd like to hit maybe in this year, next few years? If you could pick one.
Oof. Oh man, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, there's a lot, I guess. But some of them are ones that I'm kind of keeping more on the, those are a little secret, I guess. But I mean, one that I'm really looking forward to, I guess we could say, is producing out of my Lineacecalis, which anyway, it's this other species. Lineacecalis is down more towards the bottom of Mexico, and then also the Gibsoni, which is the Guatemalan pine snake, and so that's from Guatemala. And anyways, I have those projects finally, and in the next 5 years, I should definitely be, producing out of those. And so that's one that I'm so excited about. And those are the ones I was talking about earlier where I haven't worked with them yet, but they're ones that people have struggled to produce out of before for just various reasons. So those are the ones I'm really going to like test my expertise on, I guess you could say, where if I can be successful with those, then I would feel pretty well accomplished as a Pituophis breeder. So
I wonder, are they kept at like a warmer temperature since they're more near the equator, or are they still found in those cooler parts? You know?
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't, like I said, there's not even very many people here that are working with them. They were really hard to find and track down. But yeah, they do kind of like it warmer, maybe a little more humid. But they also like the Geni like it cooler too. Some of them like they prefer it colder than the other ones, which is funny because they're in Mexico. Like, what do you want it colder?
Yeah, like I'm sure there's pockets where it is colder, but
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And some of them are found more up in like the mountain ranges and whatnot. And so that kind of makes sense, right? Like, yes, it's warmer and maybe humid, but it also is a little chillier at the higher elevations. And so, you know, I'm going to try different things. Luckily, I did have a gentleman that is working with them and has successfully produced out of them, is super willing to like, you know, give me tips and help me out with that. And so I'm hoping to be pretty successful with them, but he's basically said like, I do everything pretty much the same and it's worked out for me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good.
Fingers crossed. That's I think the biggest help in really starting this or getting any species is finding a mentor out there that can help you, that can solve like a lot of your headaches and problems if you find a good mentor. So
yeah, for sure.
So yeah. And then one final thing that you wouldn't know, what kind of advice do you have for people that are maybe on the fence wanting to get into any of these subspecies? You know, what kind of advice do you have, knowing that they probably keep other, you know, maybe more commonly kept species?
Just do it. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I think, and I know that this is probably true for just about any species, right? But like, if you just get it and work with it, like you will probably really enjoy it. And so, and if you don't, then you know, and you can move on to something else, right? But if you're on the fence about it, like I would absolutely say, like, just get one, test the waters, and see if you like it. These guys, the Pituophis species, almost all of them are just super hardy. I mean, they eat pretty much anything that they see. It's, you know, minimal requirements as far as like heat and humidity. Like I don't even track humidity. They just have some belly heat and that's all they need. You know, I mean, it's a great pet if you're looking for more of just a pet, because they are pretty easy to care for since they aren't really picky. And, you know, as long as they have water and you feed them every so often, then they're just happy to be over there. So they're really fun to handle too. You know, a lot of them, the bull snakes can have a little bit of a bad rap just because they can be intimidating. And I find myself intimidated sometimes too. And, you know, I work with them every day, but really they're just super fun, and the attitude makes it even funner to work with them. You know, I deal with it and it's, it's fine. I mean, the babies are worse than the adults most of the time, to be honest. I can't even tell you how many times I've been tagged the past week, like separating them. Like I have all these little pinpricks on my hands. I'm like, here we go again. But you know, I definitely think that it's a species worth working with, and they will end up like fulfilling your snake keeping dreams, in my opinion. I think they're very rewarding, very easy, and handling them is definitely really fun. So
cool. Awesome. Perfect. So if anybody's on the fence, just do it. Just get one, just give it a try and see.
I think you better.
Yeah, they seem, I mean, from the conversation, super easy, and that just helps a lot. People have a good experience, so more likely to accumulate more and collect more. So
yeah.
So all right, perfect. Well, great episode. thank you so much for your time. If you want to just say how people can follow you or follow your projects, you can say your handles and all of that, and good to go.
Yeah, I mean, definitely following me on Instagram or Facebook, just at Summer Snakes, is probably the best way to stay up to date on everything that we're doing. We post, Spencer's posting pretty much every day on there. So he was saying, yeah, he was like, maybe I should post twice a day. I'm like, no, let's just do once a day. Anyways, but he keeps everything pretty much up to date on there. And then our YouTube channel, of course, Summer Snakes is our YouTube channel. We post every Sunday. We drop videos at noon. And so we're always posting more content on those, and we're having a lot of fun doing that. So, I think following us on there will give you a lot of great looks into what we do and how awesome Pituophis are. And so follow us on YouTube too. That's a great spot. Or like I said, our Instagram, Facebook, we keep those really up to date. And that'd be awesome if you guys give us a follow.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll subscribe to the YouTube. There was a lot of people in the chats that really enjoy those. So you guys are doing sounds like you guys are doing a pretty good job and getting a good following. So that's great. So, okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. Have a great start to your week, and hope your season goes well and successful, and go forward with that. So
awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and we had a good time.
Yeah. No, it was great. All right. Thanks so much, Summer. All right, guys. Thanks so much for following. Be back next week. I'll have on Hogalicious. She does hog noses. We're going to talk about kind of marketing reptile business and all of that. It's a really cute name, and really excited to have her on next week. So again, if you guys have questions, just DM me. And again, have a great start to your week.